Avi Meyers, NTNM Extras. We've had so many requests for so many people that we've actually had to do some extra shows. This show is officially produced by Jamie Hirsch. That's the daughter of Sonny Hirsch, my entire technical crew. You can still find us on the regular show website at ntnm.org. And all the shows, of course, are on YouTube, where over 100,000 shows have been watched. And given that we don't do sex, drugs, or rock and roll on it, I think that's pretty impressive. And I do appreciate that a lot. Jewish Chicago is out on the street. It's already available. And you can find it, first of all, if you can't get a copy, you can find it on the web at ntnm.org. Or through that site, you can also write me, and I'll tell you where you can get your free copy that'll be closest to you. But you know what? Think about bagels, think about corned beef, and believe it or not, a lot of Chinese restaurants in Jewish neighborhoods, are really good for distributing copies. In any event, it's a pleasure. One of the nice things about campaigns is you get to meet new people. And even though it's just somebody I have been reading about for years and years, and is definitely a very interesting character, he's somebody who's running for lieutenant governor of the state of Illinois. He is presently a state senator, and he has been for quite a while. And he's a name that a lot of you people know, and that is Senator Rickey Hendon. Senator, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me, Avi.
And first of all, thank you. And there was a lot of speculation about different offices you were going to run for and all the rest of it, and you chose lieutenant governor.
Right. I had to wait for my Congressman, Danny K. Davis, to make his mind up. Danny raised me in politics, so I was the front runner in all the polls to take his place in Congress. But then he decided that he would stay there, didn't want to be involved in that Todd Stroger, Dorothy Brown, Tony Preckwinkle, O'Brien thing, and 4 or 5 blacks, and divisive. So he decided he'd stay where he was at, and so I went the lieutenant governor route.
Very good. And lieutenant governor, that's so you've got quite a few opponents in that race yourself.
Yes, it's a crowded race, and I like it that way because I've earned the name recognition that I have.
Well,
the rest of them have to buy it.
Sure.
Right.
I would definitely think you're the best known out of all the candidates running for lieutenant governor.
Yeah, all the polls show that. So, and then people either love me or they hate me. Yeah. So they know they've made a decision about me already, and fortunately for me, more of them love me than hate me.
I'll tell you this much. I talked to him for a few minutes before the show, and I really like the guy. I think he's a good guy.
Thank you.
Oh, and by the way, I do want to thank Jeff Stein very much for arranging to have you on the show.
And so do I.
Okay.
And Bill Raines.
Bill Raines, another good guy, and he's going to be on the show also, definitely.
I have to say this. Yeah. We had a toy giveaway for Christmas.
Yes.
And Bill Raines bought the greatest toys, the best. The children just were so happy. And I just fell in love with the guy, man to man, mano to mano,
right.
Kind of love the guy. And because he did such a great job, the children just loved his gifts so much. And we're with him all the way. Good man.
Sounds good. I like that. And no, as a matter of fact, Bill's definitely got the Jewish Chicago backing, that's for sure.
Wonderful.
So, anyway, let's talk about what are the things you want to do as lieutenant governor? What are the things you'd like to see done?
Well, my main thing has been, even as senator and alderman when I served in city council, is economic development. I passed the bill to bring the movie business back to Illinois. It just blew my mind that the movie Chicago was shot in Toronto, Canada. So like, how do you shoot Chicago in Toronto? But they had the tax credit, and they, had the incentives for the movie industry. And I used to act and be in the movie business. That's where the nickname Hollywood actually comes from. Some people call me Hollywood. I don't get offended. I take those lemons and make lemonade. And I use that to bring the tax credit to the movie business. And now we have all these films being shot in Illinois. At the time when I did it, there were only 500 film and movie-related jobs shot in Illinois that year. And now we're over 20,000 a year.
No, it really has become a terrific industry. And as a matter of fact, I know people that are involved on the periphery, and you just meet people on the street now. There's so many people involved.
Exactly. And people, they think that it's only the actors, but the behind the scenes people like Sonny, your cameraman, they work on a regular basis. The unions are happy. It's good for the city, and what it does when the stars are here, it's good for the culture. It's good for tourism, because you can say, oh, guess who's over at this restaurant? Snead can write about it and that kind of thing. So it's good for the city. It's good for the state. And I want to do the same for the record industry. We were talking off right. camera about when you used to work there, and we haven't had a major label in Chicago, probably since Chess Records.
That's right.
And what happens, Jennifer Hudson and I are personal friends.
Nice.
Her
She's
Chicago
extremely
producer.
Talented.
Her Chicago producer is my personal friend and producer, Earl Powell, and he has 2 songs on her Emmy album. and we were in his basement, in his studio, and eating chicken with our hands with Jennifer. And now look at her, and she had to actually go to Florida and then L.A. That route to get where she is today. Why can't we have it where she could stay here in Illinois and get all the benefits and the layers and layers that you need to build the record industry here in Illinois? And that's what I'll do as a lieutenant governor.
No, that'd be great. That I'd like to see, because you know what? It's like I'm from a different age group and a different music set, but I remember Chicago, the musical group. They're in L.A.
Right.
Okay, and Steve Goodman, who was like the big folk singer who did all the Chicago songs, couldn't make a living in Chicago, and he had to move out to L.A.
Listen, I studied at Second City, and look at all
cool.
of the talent that came through Second City that is, leave, and then they come back and have this big reunion. And it's everybody. You're like, whoa, everybody actually came from here. Well, I want to create a climate where they live here. It's good for the tax base. It's good for tourism. Let's get them to stay.
That'd be great. I got to tell you, I used to love to go to Second City, and that was actually my favorite place to bring a date. and I will even say, and I remember the old days with Belushi and Aykroyd. Yes. Bill Murray actually hit on my date after the show when all the actors were saying hi to us on the way out.
Right. She must have been pretty.
She was.
Okay.
So I think that's very noble, because you know what? The truth is, not the lieutenant governor's job. Not everybody does anything with it.
Well, right. A lot of people just sit there and hope the governor falls over and passes away or gets indicted or recalled or something.
You think a governor here could get indicted?
I think so. Me, I would be an activist lieutenant governor. One thing I like to do is take the Main Street program and expand it. Why just help downtown areas? There are a lot of areas that we could help where the businesses are. We should be able to give those small businesses a hand at the state level, and because small businesses create the most jobs.
That's 100%
and run the economy. Right now, that's one of the responsibilities for the lieutenant governor, but it's just the downtown areas. I'd like to expand that.
That would be very nice. I know up in the neighborhood here, I mean, we have, and in general, that's just so important. Yeah, Anyway, let's talk about what else would you like to see happen?
Well, I've passed several bills that are sitting in the House right now, and as Lieutenant Governor, I'd be able to get those passed. One is 1979, Senate Bill 1979, and that's to get people out of foreclosure. I put the money in the bill. I'm the money guy. I believe in finding the money, and what it does is a person who's in foreclosure can get up to $6,000 to help them get out of foreclosure.
Nice.
The banks love it because they're getting some of their money.
Yeah.
See, it's one thing to say to the lending institution, well, renegotiate this mortgage. Well, but if you give them an incentive, like some of their money, they're more likely to renegotiate that mortgage. And the people don't have to pay the money back.
Yeah.
So you get people out of foreclosure because, foreclosure is just going crazy. Pass out of the Senate, 59-0, and it's sitting over in the House. I also have a bill to get these guns off the streets. And, especially in my community, it's just a lot of violence, and we have to be creative about it. The old approaches have not worked. So I passed the bill over into the House, Senate Bill 349, called Guns for Jobs. We can get these young people to turn the guns in. They still get their little $100 or whatever, but if they don't want to remain anonymous, because they're really not criminals, they just have guns maybe to protect themselves, or this is how they're making their living, we'll put their names on a list, help them get a job out of the stimulus package, turn some of these lives around. Because we have to turn some of these babies' lives around, or we're going to continue to see this cycle of violence repeat itself. And I put $1 million into that fund. Pass to remove their opposition.
That's really nice.
My other two bills I'd like to talk about briefly, dear to my heart, I passed 2 resolutions to get us out of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. Especially Afghanistan, because all we're getting is this cheap heroin on the streets of Chicago and throughout Illinois, and it's $3 a bag on the west side now. $3, 10 times more potent than ever before, and it's all from Afghanistan. So all we're getting for fighting for these people who don't like us, in my opinion, they don't like us.
They don't like us. That's for sure.
Been fighting 10,000 years.
Don't like us is a very nice way to put it.
And all we're getting is this cheap heroin.
Yeah.
And it makes absolutely no sense. We should spend that $1 trillion a year in America and turn our people's lives around and let them, they're going to be fighting 10,000 more years, whether we're there or not.
They are going to be fighting. That's true. As a matter of fact, you're not going to see peace in that region. People have very funny ideas about that, but that's for sure. Your website.
Well, it's Rickey Hendon.
Is there another topic you wanted to bring up?
Well, no, I mean, I have so many good bills out there. Of course, I like to talk about the law.
Definitely creative. I like creative.
And I think that is my strength, actually, in the General Assembly. I think outside the box. Having a background in theater helps me think outside the box. And we have to do that. You know, like I said, when I looked at all the other foreclosure measures, I was like, there's none that gives true incentives to the lender.
Yeah.
So let's give true incentive to the lender, and it's the taxpayers' money anyway. Yeah. And I'm sure you know I was the sponsor of the bill for free rides for seniors. And I was able to save that when they said CTA came in, oh, if you don't get rid of those free rides for seniors, we're going to have a fare increase. Well, guess what? The seniors are still riding free statewide, and there's no fare increase. In fact, we have a freeze for 2 years, guaranteed, no fare increase at CTA. And your senator from this area, Ira Silverstein, was very key and instrumental in helping me save the free rides for seniors programs. Now, some seniors who have a lot of money who want to pay, we're not forcing them to ride free. If their conscience is bothering them, they have so much money they want to pay, let them pay. But I believe senior citizens have paid taxes longer than anybody else, and they deserve a break. And people can get me at Rickey Hendon at AOL.com. And
Rickey Hendon at AOL.com.
Yes, I'm at 2926 West Madison. I always give my cell phone out, if that's okay.
Please.
Because I believe in access.
Yeah.
You can give me a call no matter what the problem is, 773-294-7417, 773-294-7417. And I've built a county-wide organization already. You know, we supported Larry Sufferdine for state's attorney. We helped elect Deborah Shore.
Larry was here earlier today, by the way.
Good man, good man. Deborah Shore at Water Reclamation District, along with Patricia Horton. So we have to work together. You know, the north side and the west side. We're kind of doing our thing now, and it works for both of us, and it's good for the state and good for the city.
When people work together, good things happen. What is your punch number?
My punch number is 19. I can't rhyme it with anything, but just think of that golden age when everything was perfect in your life and you were full of zest and zeal. 19, you'll get Rickey Hendon, and you will be happy because I'm the same. I'm consistent. I won't change after I get elected. You know, what you see is what you get. I'm a straightforward person, and you can depend on me. Punch 19.
State Senator Rickey Hendon, running for Lieutenant Governor of the state of Illinois. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was great. Have me back up here. I love it.
You got it.
All right.
You got it.
Thank you.